Yes. Excellent. So let's just check we're on. See how it's going. Yes, we are live. Excellent. So good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Pitch Club live stream. So this is what we are trying as a new idea between the festive holiday seasons when everybody is focused on family. We want to keep the Pitch Club vibe alive. And so we're going to have fantastic conversations with members of the Pitch Club community and talk about how they use pitching. So I'd like to welcome everybody. Faabiha. Faabiha, please say hello.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me, Martin.
Absolute my pleasure. This is going to be an awesome chat. And what we want to do is this live is going to be about 35, 40 minutes. We're going to talk a lot about pitching. And the whole point is to share with you guys how we value pitching, how we have improved our pitching, and how we are looking to keep improving in 2022 and beyond. So, Faabiha, please tell us a little bit about yourself, but I'm going to ask you to do it as a pitch because this is the Pitch Club Live. And let's pretend that we're networking because essentially you are networking to everybody who's listening. So we're pretending we're at a networking event and I'm going to ask you what you do. So this is a classic question and a fantastic pitch. So please tell us, what do you do, Faabiha?
Hi, I'm Faabiha Kahn. I'm from Dhaka, Bangladesh. And I am currently now looking over the entire marketing of a UK brand remotely from here. And I'm actually moving to Australia in a couple of months. And I might let's see what happens. And I am also exploring a path of life and career coaching. So yeah, that's like a really short intro.
Excellent. So you're running the marketing for a UK brand
Yeah,
and you're currently in Bangladesh.
yeah.
Excellent. And how long have you been doing this?
Just three months, barely 3 months.
And you're now going to move to Australia.
Yeah, soon.
Wow,
Yeah, hopefully.
that's exciting. Congratulations. So I have a quick question for you. This is a question I'm going to be asking everybody who joins the live. Do you enjoy pitching?
I do. I enjoy presenting a lot. Like I really love talking, hosting, and pitching. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if you were to, have you done more pitching online or in person? What's your sort of experience? Which is the biggest slice of a pie?
Um, I have had more pitches offline, live, because I have been presenting from my university days and then back when I was working. And
Mhm.
I just started online pitching with Pitch Club, and that's been like a month I think like barely 3 months. I think that I've been pitching online.
Excellent. So you have had more experience pitching in person when you've
Yeah,
been in the same room. Excellent.
yeah.
And what would you say is the biggest difference for you personally between pitching when you're in the same room and then what we're doing now? I'm in the UK, you're in Bangladesh, we're pitching using software. What is the biggest difference in your mind?
Um, in live, I think like when you're pitching offline, the difference is the live audience. And
Mhm.
also the difference that I felt personally, because I like pitching whenever I'm presenting, I feel like there's more energy when I'm standing and when I'm presenting. So this is something that I feel lacks whenever you're presenting online, because there you always don't have the chance to stand up and present. Also, if you have a slide, it's also difficult when you're presenting online because the slide is covering your face. But ideally, whenever you're presenting, the slides are supposed to be supporting your pitch, so they're supposed to be like there, and it's not supposed to be blocking your face. So whenever I pitched like live, I preferred using a slide, but now when I pitch online, I actually prefer without a slide, because then my face is like this much, and if I'm doing a lot of hand movements, if I'm doing a lot of gesture, then it's kind of difficult to balance that out. This is the difference that
Absolutely. And what do you miss pitching in person?
I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
And when
different
you
kind
lose
of energy.
the energy,
Yeah,
there is something about being in the same room and looking at all the subtle body language, gestures, and the way that the non-verbal communication that we share, that when we're talking to a camera we can only see like
yeah.
the top half, but we're in the same room, we can read more of the atmosphere. And when you go to Australia, are you going to be working with the UK company that you're working with now?
I'm not sure because this is a remote job. So
Uh-huh.
I am actually interested to kind of work in the Australian market. So I am looking, but it's more like right now I'm in a remote job, so it's comfortable. Like when I move, it's easier. But let's see what happens. I am actually interested to join the corporate workforce because I'm currently working in marketing. So I would love to work with bigger brands, you know. So that would be fun. But let's see how that rolls out.
And you're moving to Australia for study or work or lifestyle, or if you don't mind?
Yeah, it's like my husband, he is moving for masters and I'll be working. So it's more like we're moving together. He'll be
Okay.
studying and I'll have a work permit.
Oh, fantastic. That's
Yeah.
excellent. Excellent. Well, let's say hello to some people in the chat. Hey, Andrew, it is wonderful to see you. I look forward to having you here on a LinkedIn, a Pitch Club live very soon, Andrew. Ahmed, fantastic for joining. Abra, have I said your name right? Please let me
Yeah.
know. Izzy, and we have a LinkedIn user, Super Being, here. Thank you guys for joining. If you have any pitching questions, please drop them in the chat, and we will come to them towards the end of the session. And it's so lovely for you guys to tune in. So let's keep going. So, what has been your? Let me see my questions. So let me ask you: how do you use pitching in your professional life?
Um, So it's like when you hear the term pitching, it's usually the first thing that comes in your mind. It is that it's a sales pitch or it's like a business idea pitch. But you know, after working with you guys, I've realized that it's just presentation and even communication that is also a part. Like that's also pitching. So in professional life, especially in marketing, and even in a lot of different sectors, presentation is a very, very, very important part. So whenever you like, and it's like you have to, like if you're working in corporate settings, most of the times it's like in English. So we are often scared to present,
Hmm.
and it's like scared to share our ideas. And it's like if you are really talented, but if you cannot present really well, someone else who might not be as talented but presents really well can sometimes get an upper hand in with other people with the management team. So it's very important, especially for those people who are more talented, that they actually work on their communication skills so that they actually share what they know. They show the world what they know. So that's why pitching is very important, even in the professional setting.
Bingo, you've nailed it. Excellent. Well, there's two things that you said which I think are so important. There is three things. The word pitch, and there's the word pitch, which is often a sales pitch or a startup pitch, and then there's the word public speaking,
Yeah,
and then there's a presentation. And those are sort of three things which are different but can be
yeah,
used within the same different contexts. Um, and I believe that life's a pitch. We are always pitching. Like I'm pitching to my children when my twin daughters, who are 4 years old, tell me they want to go to school in their swimming trunks, or that they don't want to eat their green vegetables, but they want more chocolate. They're pitching me. They are trying to persuade me of their point of view. Um, and I believe that, when we're talking about pitching, we have a very clear intent. I want you to agree with my point of view. So I'm gonna sell you on an idea. Whereas public speaking is more, I have a platform and I'm going to share something. And then a presentation is different but the same. So, of the three things, pitching, public speaking, and presenting, which one do you feel most comfortable doing?
I think public speaking.
Yeah.
More comfortable, but I think and then second would be presentation, and then third self pitch, because I think that's a bit scary.
And I just want to say that Rekha has also, highlighted what you said about you can be super talented. And this is the second thing that you said that was really
Yeah,
interesting is like, you can be really talented, but if you don't have the confidence to public speak, your voice won't
yeah,
be heard. And you
yeah,
might have somebody else in the room who's not quite as talented, but a little bit more confident public speaking, and they will get the spotlight. And
yeah.
that isn't necessarily the right balance of focus. So I think that's a
And I
super.
would also like to add with what you were saying about your kid, that you were saying that they also communicate. So my brother, he has autism, he's nonverbal. So it's like it's also the same, it's like even though he's nonverbal, I actually have to get to him. I actually have to communicate with him, and I actually do indirectly pitch to him when I'm trying to explain something to him, and he actually understands that. So I think, like you were saying, like not just in professional setting, even in like regular life we do have to communicate, and it is like it's just different forms of pitching.
And that is so interesting. How does your brother pitch you? So your brother's nonverbal,
Yeah.
and he obviously you communicate with each other. How does he tell you what he wants?
So what he does is, because he can speak so often, he takes me to that certain space, or like if he wants ice cream, he'll just stand in front of the deep freezer, and he will like hug me, or he will kiss me, so I would know that he wants something that's in the freezer. So like that, if it's something, if he wants biscuits, he would like give me the key so that I open it. So it's just like that. He just acts like a kid who's like a 4-year-old kid. So that's just it. It's just like simple, those simple things, but it's just in an adult version.
And and obviously, if you don't want to talk about your brother, that's totally fine. But I'm so interested. Do you feel that you have improved your nonverbal body language reading skills because of how you communicate with your brother?
Could be.
Yeah.
I think it was. I think it's more about I think understanding silences, understanding like when someone's happy, or like it's like people with autism, or kids especially, they're very innocent, and they're not fake, like they're when they smile or when they're happy, you can tell it from their face. So that's just something that like I've learned, like understanding people's emotions, like when they're not comfortable or when they're like smiling, you can understand those silences.
Amazing. 100%. What you said there was fantastic. I have to watch the replay. I, well, my children, my wife is Chinese. And so I lived in China from 2004 to 2019. And my Chinese spoken skills are not as good as they should be. And when the children were born, we had my mother-in-law that speaks Cantonese, we had the nanny that speaks Mandarin, myself that speaks English, and we taught our children sign language, American Sign Language, off YouTube videos. And so we had non-verbal communication at the center of a trilingual house, and our children speak really fast now. Like everybody who sees our kids at 4, they're like, my God, they have a very wide vocabulary. And I believe it's because they understand Cantonese, they speak Mandarin, they speak fluent English, and they had sign language at the center of that. And whenever I meet people who are about to become parents, I'm like, learn sign language, because you can really start communicating with no friction. And also, you start watching hands, and you know that gestures become a massive part of how we communicate. So I think what you've shared about your brother's autism is amazing, and there must be so much to learn. There's a friend, I don't know if you follow him on LinkedIn, Andy, and his son is autistic, and he talks a lot about, he has a brand called Unconventional, and it's all focused on his experiences with his son. And there's a lot of conversation about where these skills are going to be useful. So when Andy's son grows up in 10 years, 15 years, and he's a professional, what kind of jobs are you going to have? And what kind of skill sets and what kind of new perspectives will autism bring to the professional world? And through pitching, presenting, communicating, this is like super interesting. So I think it's amazing that you're happy to talk about it, and I think you should keep talking about it, because the more you talk about it, the better you will get at sharing the insights. And Rekha is really enjoying the conversation here in the chat. So thank you, Rekha, for supporting. Excellent. So let's talk a little bit more about pitching. So I want to talk, we've talked about pitching, public speaking, and presenting. Now, these three areas I call spotlight moments.
Yeah.
Where you are on stage, could be a real stage or a virtual stage, and you have the attention of the room. So we have each other's attention, and we have the attention of LinkedIn and the attention of the chat. Now, what has been your biggest success in the spotlight so far?
So I haven't had like really big pitching experiences, like not big stage moments, like, but from these little pitches that I've done, um, I think one of the most successful one was my university pitch that I did in the end, when I shared something. It was about a topic that I was very confident about, and I really liked it, and I really wanted to share it. And it's just that when I was sharing it, I could feel like the audience was like nodding their heads with, like, as if I could. It's like I could feel that they had a change of thought. Maybe one or two people were kind of like nodding their heads and yes. So I kind of felt like, okay, I've succeeded. So that was really great.
And that was when you were at university.
Yeah. It
And
was like,
then,
I think it's one of the English presentations where it's open. You can select like whatever topic you want. So then, I think it was something about gender inequality. So I think I picked up something, and I had taken a different turn, and then everyone was like, okay, wow, and everything. That's what I remember.
and
It was
how
nice.
did you feel before that spotlight moment?
I was nervous. Like I had it in my mind. Like I was expecting that if I said it right, if I said the way I thought I would be saying it, if I say it right, then I would get that reaction. And I was a bit nervous, but like one of the most what has helped me when I was presenting is that I don't memorize scripts. So that's why like I just make presentations and I make bullet points. So it's
Mm.
like that's why I felt a bit confident that even if I do mess up on stage, I can make up something and somehow come up, just say something and it won't be a mess. But it's like if you do use scripts, so that's scary. So before that I was nervous, but I was like, I just hope I can do it. I can get that reaction. That's it.
Fantastic. So let's jump into that. So you explain your process. How do you prepare for a spotlight moment?
Um, So the way I do it, like if it's a pitch, if it's like the pitch that I did for pitch clubs, because there's a time frame, there's a 3 minute time frame. So what I do is I make a presentation if it has slides. So I just put everything down. I make something up, and then I demo. I just do a recording of what I'm going to say, and just see if that works out, if I'm on time, if it does exceed. And then it's just more about practice. But being on pitch club, like I've learned a lot of things, like that has helped my process. That I think there was Andrew, there was MCK, they gave really really great feedback. So I think one of them had said that you should remember the next question that's gonna come up when you are presenting. Like if you're presenting a certain topic, and if you're going to go to the next topic, you should think if that answers the question that your audience might have. So that's the way of kind of progressing. So I try to do that when I'm doing like a business presentation, I try to answer. I try to keep that flow in mind. And I haven't had like a big presentation yet, so I'm gonna do that next time when I do do a big presentation.
That sounds like an Andrew. That sounds like Andrew's feedback. Is that
Yeah,
right? Yeah. I
maybe.
think
Yeah, I think that was
Andrew's so,
Andrew.
yeah, Andrew is so good at seeing the big strategical picture of why and how you present and that narrative.
Yeah,
I think, yeah, that was. I always enjoyed. I mean, the wonderful thing about Pitch Club. So, for anybody who doesn't know, Pitch Club is how Fabia and I met. We met originally on LinkedIn, and then Fabia came to Pitch Club. And Pitch Club is a weekly event that I host on a Thursday. And there is a Pitch Club has two chapters. There's the Wednesday chapter in Beijing, and the chapter two is Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. GMT. And so Pitch Club is 5 3-minute pitches, and you can pitch about anything you like, as long as it's worth the audience's attention and time. So it can be a business thing, it can be your startup idea, it can be your experiences in life, but it has to be more than just, hey, let me share with you something that I put on social media. It has to be there's a message and a story and a value. Um, and the really amazing thing is that the format. So Pitch Club was created by James Lalonde, who's an amazing serial entrepreneur in Beijing, and he was frustrated that not enough people were getting this spotlight moment. So 3 minutes, come and share a story, and the value is in the feedback. And like we were just saying, Andrew gives incredible feedback because he's a pitch professor in Canada, as well as other members on our chat today. Rekha give incredible feedback. Rekha, when Rekha gives feedback, I'm like taking notes. I'm like, wow, this is like super good. And we also have Kate here on the
yeah. Even
call.
she's really good with feedback. It's
Kate's
like a
feedback.
pitch. The feedback in itself is a pitch.
It's like I go to other pitch events and I've a panelist and I love the different events, but I'm amazed that the audience sits there passively not having any voice. And I think what is amazing about Pitch Club is the
Yeah,
fact that everybody gets to contribute. And if you're nervous about pitching, sharing feedback is the first half step, because you
yeah,
can start to kind of be part of the moment without actually being in the spotlight.
yeah,
Um, but I just want to backtrack a little bit. You mentioned about not learning a script,
yeah.
having bullet points. So just explain, like before you pull your slides together, what do you do in terms of getting yourself ready for your content of your pitch or your presentation?
So it's just first think about what topic. If it's like a very, it depends. If it's like a business presentation, then you already know like what's your outcome. So I think then you can just go backwards. That I know this is the result that I want, and then you can just share your process. And if it's a topic which is like just like a public speaking topic, then I think um, I try to make it more like a storytelling. So that's how I think of it. Like, how can I present it in in an interesting way so that people actually listen to it, and there is like there's a smooth transition, like the pitch that I did from my brother when I was trying to get into life coaching. So it's like I was thinking how I can relate all my life experiences and I can make it a circle, so that it's like if I went through this, I went through that, and then every time this, and then all of that. And I thought of that what experiences will I use? And because I have had a lot of experiences, but which ones will I be using in the pitch? So then you think of those experiences, and then it's about kind of getting all those thoughts together, that which ones you will be using, and then how you will connect them together to make it one full circle.
And do you work on paper? Do you work on Do you work in Word? Do you work on a whiteboard? Do you use post-it notes? Like, what's your sort
I
of
like
process?
writing, just just scribbling. It's more like, yeah, instead of sticky notes, it's more like just scribbling, like just bullet points, okay, this and this, like just in the beginning when I'm just brainstorming. So then it's just the big headings that these things where I will be covering, and then I think how will I go from this point to this point, and then go from point B to point C, and then how I will get to the call to action, and if I can make it all within that 3 minutes if it's a timed pitch.
So you work on paper first.
Yeah,
I mean, we have like so many devices and technology and all this sort of stuff, yet pen and paper. I mean, I love post-it notes, although they're
yeah,
disappearing on my green screen. You know, post-it
yeah,
notes, whiteboard, paper, pencil. It getting back to the basics where there's no distractions. You're purely focused on what is it I want to say and the content. You're not worrying about the formatting or the spelling mistakes or the typos or any of that stuff that doesn't matter. It's like, what is the story, the word you use? What is the story that I really want to share? And I love the way you talk about it being a circle.
yeah.
So, and then once you've done your brainstorming, what do you do next? Do you go straight to PPT or do you write a script?
Um, if it's yeah, if it's a one without a script, so what I do is I have tried like from the one where I was talking about my brother. It had no presentation, and I tried writing it down, but the problem is I'm not good at it. So what I did was I actually recorded myself. So I just spoke, and and then I just saw if it was going, and then I heard my pitch. So for the one which did not have a presentation, that's what I did. Like I talked and then I heard myself, because this is one of my advices my father gave me, because he's a musician, and he told me like one of the biggest ways of practicing music is just singing, not like doing like the basic like just sagamapa or what. It's just sing any song and just sing, and then record yourself and listen to it. Then you will be able to understand it from an audience's point of view. So that's the same thing as a pitch. Like just record yourself and then hear it, and then you will be able to give a feedback for yourself.
That's amazing. So your father's a musician
Yeah.
and he told you
And a
just to
corporate
jam.
person too. He's both. Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. And how did it feel when you heard your voice for the first time on a recording?
I actually like my recorded voice. I really like it.
Hmm.
So I was when I think the first time that I heard it, I'm like I should do a podcast. I'm really good at this. It sounds really good. I was really happy, but I
Oh,
haven't
fantastic.
done one yet.
Excellent. Because I mean, myself, I was when I first started to hear my voice on recordings, I was actually quite surprised because I was like, that's not the voice that I think I sound like. What I hear in my own head sounds quite different. And it's wonderful that you enjoyed the sound of your voice quite fast, because a lot of people, that's a barrier to entry. They don't like it. They feel
Yeah,
self-conscious. Um, but as you've described, the benefits are amazing when you can, I mean, and we have this, right? We can literally just pick up our phone, whatever phone it is, and just pitch to our phone, record it, listen back, and we can hear the ums, the ers. We can hear if we
yeah.
talk fast or slow, there is so much feedback.
Yeah.
And then,
And
so
it's like for people who actually want to do a script, there is an app called Otter. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Otter. It's like
mhm,
if you speak to it, it actually transcribes into text. So for those people who are more comfortable in speaking than writing, they can try something like this where they just speak the text and then it types out. Because usually when we're typing a script, it's more robotic, because we're actually going to be presenting it. So the words, it's better if you practice speaking it than writing it. So then an app like this could help for anyone who wants a script.
exactly. I mean, there are so many tools now, whether it's
Yeah,
Descript or Otter or Evernote, or you can just like live transcribe
yeah,
what we're saying. And like you say, that the way we write is different than the way we speak.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, that is fantastic. Whoops, there's a couple of my alerts. So I just want to ask a quick question, and it's really important to be, share vulnerabilities as professionals, and to sort of share about times that maybe have have not gone to plan. And so I don't like the word mistake. I use the word banana skin. And you asked me about this earlier in the chat when we were preparing for today. You said, what is a banana skin? And to me, a banana skin is when you slip and things don't quite go to plan. So have you had any public speaking, presenting banana skins that you'd like to sort of share the message and the learning from? I can go first. I have loads if you'd like me to share first.
Yeah, you can share. I also have, but it's more business. I think the most embarrassing one maybe was business one, where I was totally lost. I was totally clueless. It was really bad. It
Go on,
was
carry
just
on.
I think it was just that I was clueless. Like I hadn't prepared enough. Like Andrew's suggestion, I did not prepare their questions. Like I did not. I just made my own presentation, what it's going to be, but I did not think it from an audience's perspective or like from what kind of questions I'll get. So when they asked me a question, I was very like it was just very clumsy because I felt like I wasn't prepared, and for them it felt like I didn't know my stuff. And I was very nervous too. So that was one. Another one I think was when I tried typing out a script, and it's like I said, like typed it out, but I did not practice it. So when I was trying to present it, it was like I was mumbling because it was not what I ended up saying, and then I tried to get back to what I thought I was about to say, and then it was just all a mess.
Yes. Well, and how did you, afterwards, what did you do that you said, I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to learn from this banana skin. And what did you do for your future pitch for it to be better? What was your major learning?
So, like I said, I ditched the complete script writing, like writing completely word to word. Like I started doing bullet points that this is what I'm going to say, and I actually practice what I'm going to say instead of typing it out without saying it. Because, like I said, sometimes you type it out, but when you are about to say it, you might not say it in that same language, and then it might get a bit scary. Also, when you are like when I was presenting, when I made that mistake of scripting, I went to like keeping bullet points, so that gave me a bit space. Like if I'm on stage and if I do mess up, I know that I don't have a strict script that I have to adhere to. So it's like I can kind of have a bit space to use a little bit different words, and I know I have to get to a second bullet point. So it's easier. It gives you a space to um, not be that strict to yourself, because when you're presenting, sometimes things might not work. Like sometimes when you're presenting, your presentation might not work. This might not work. So another option is you should keep a backup, and you should always check before you're presenting if that technical issue is working or not. That also helps for big presentations.
Oh yes, oh yes. I mean, I've had exactly the same banana skin that you have. So in 2010, I gave a TEDx Beijing talk, and I was so excited about this talk because it was a TEDx speech, and I'd seen that some TEDx talks had filtered onto the TED platform, and I was talking about a project where we worked with non-visual photographers, blind people that take photographs, and we worked with them making a car commercial in China. So, and I was the creative director. I co-directed the project. I came up with the concept. I sold it to the client. So when I was talking about it, I was like, this is such a TED concept. And what I did was I spent 3 weeks on my own in my bedroom writing a really complicated script. And then I tried to memorize that script, and then I had really complicated slides, and I never presented to my phone, and I never presented to an audience of people before I got onto the stage at TED and spoke to 100 people. And I'd never spoken to 100 people before. So I was doing the first time on TEDx stage, the first time in front of 100 people. I was the first person that day, and I was also the first time I was speaking my pitch to an audience. And I was so nervous that I was walking in circles, and I had no idea. And the guy filming was like, psst, stop walking in circles. I'm like, what? And he's like, just calm down. He was like, just breathe, man. And I'm like, and I remember in my head that I could see the exit sign, and a little voice in my head said, get off stage, run away, go now. And I remember my leg twitched, like I almost bolted for stage. And it took me like 8 minutes just to sort of say, okay, forget what I think I want to say, and just tell the stories that I know. And that experience over 10 years ago was a massive banana skin for me, because I had such high expectations, yet it has helped me get to where I am right now and focus for the last 10 years on presenting, public speaking, and pitching, because I know how powerful it is when you're in the spotlight, when you have the attention of your audience, and when you enjoy it. Because when you enjoy it, you can see it in the eyes, you can hear it in the voice, you can see it in the whole body flow. And the beautiful thing is that it's not rocket science, and it's not a natural born gift. We can all do this. And that's why I love it so much, because we were born to tell stories to each other, and we were born to listen. And whether it's verbal, non-verbal, whatever skills we use, questions, structures, process, when we can actually engage with people and we can tell stories and really connect, it's the best thing.
Yeah, I
So
also agree that everyone can do it. It's because I was the most shy girl in school. Like, I was so shy that I could never even call a cab. Like, I used to look up to that junior in school who could confidently call the cab, and I was like, wow, I want to become like her. Like, she can call the cab. Like, I used to just look at the cab and just like make like so that he understands that, okay, I need the cab, but I could never call the cab when I was growing up. So I think it's just you have to purposefully work on it. Like, you just have to raise your hand up and just take up every opportunity that you have to speak. You'll be a mess, and slowly you'll just work through it. I mean, it's not that difficult, but if you never start, it will seem like impossible, but it's not.
the biggest challenge is in here, isn't it? Our own personal, if we pitch to ourselves with such critical negativity, it's insane. And if we just flip that into positive energy, and like, Andrew said, when you enjoy it, that, if we have to enjoy this moment, otherwise it's always going to feel like a sinking feeling. And getting to that stage of enjoyment is not difficult. And like, it's the first difficulties in here, but once you overcome that, then you build momentum, and it's a real hockey stick. Like it's like it's hard, it's oh my god, it's amazing. And then you're just like, I want to do more of this. So fantastic. We're gonna bring it down now, because we've been chatting for 40 minutes. It's been wonderful. So what would you
I
say to
think can I
somebody?
just give one like small advice, because we did not cover that about presentation. Just like
Yeah.
for 1 second, it's just like you were saying about PowerPoint presentation. So just one advice that I have seen and I've faced, that whenever we're making a presentation, it's good if you see that presentation like an audience. Like, if you present it to yourself, so that then you can actually see the flow of the presentation before you present it, and then it's actually a lot better, and you can identify a lot of your mistakes on your own. That's it, because we did not cover that PowerPoint point. So yeah.
Oh wow, that's brilliant. Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. So if we, as we finish up right now, so we met through Pitch Club. So obviously I want to give a big shout out to Pitch Club, but I'd also love to hear you share what you think about Pitch Club, just for like 30 seconds or a minute, and just tell the audience what you've learned from being part of the Pitch Club community.
So I joined Pitch Club when I was not happy. I was not in a happy space. I was very suffering with very low self-esteem. I hadn't presented in a really long time, and I didn't know if I could even present. Like, I was just feeling very lost, and I had a very low self-esteem. What Pitch Club does is just that it gives you a space to present, and it's a free space where you can present on any topic. And if it's a business presentation, it could be it could be an idea pitch, like Martin already said, or it could be something that you just want to talk about. You just want to get over your communication barriers. So it is really amazing, especially when there's feedback from different kinds of people. And not just that, it is a safe space. And that's why I really enjoyed it, because when I was going through a low self-esteem space, and I remember I presented, and I was so nervous when I had presented, and I knew it was not a good presentation. But the feedback that I got, it made me feel so good that I wanted to present again. I wanted to work on those flaws and come back again. So that feeling, and that's really something that I'm really grateful for. Another thing is the networking that you can do. And like, I'm sitting here in Bangladesh, but I am like talking to you, you're in UK, and I've also joined the China community and everyone. So it's just everyone, they're from different parts of the world. And it's just, this is what COVID and this is what the remote world has become, that you can really build a personal brand. You don't have to only limit yourself to your country. You can actually network with people all around the globe. And it is just really nice when you hear different stories, when you hear people who are pitching ideas, and you can also be a part of that community. And it's overall, it is just an amazing space, amazing people, and an amazing environment.
Well, that. I couldn't ask for a better review. Thank you so much. Excellent. And what would you say to somebody who is that shy high school student who can't even call a taxi? Where you used to be is obviously very different to where you are now. What would you say to that person who feels very anxious and self-conscious about public speaking, pitching, presenting?
So, like, how I became like this is because I was trying for like the top business school, and I didn't get it. And I didn't get through, and I always wanted to do good in corporate because my father works in corporate. So I knew that I have to get a good job. And because I didn't get into that business school, I actually looked into what makes them different. Like, I'm going to be doing the same subject, they're going to be doing the same subject. What makes them different? What I learned is that they're really good at presentation. They were really groomed. Like, they even had a full class on presentation. They did a lot of competitions. That's the only thing that set those students apart from me. And I knew that I had to, at the end of the day, get a good job from whatever university I was studying in. So I knew that I had to compete with them. And I have to build myself up so I can compete with them in the job market. So I need to groom up myself, and I need to work on my presentation skills. So what I did was, when I joined university, I didn't have my high school friends with me when I joined university. So I thought that this is a clean slate. No one knows me. No one knows that I am the most shy girl in school. So what happened was, whenever they used to ask questions, teachers used to ask questions, I used to raise my hand. Whenever they used to ask who's going to present or who's going to say something, I used to raise my hands, even though I didn't know whether I'll be good at it or not, because I wanted to be good at it. And I knew that no one knows me here. It's like a clean slate. It's like, if it was in school, I would have been nervous, because I know that they would say, oh, you're raising hand. Oh, wow, Fabia is like now also confident. And it's like, you think that these are things that's going to happen. But when you're in a new place, you know that no one knows you. So I thought, it's fine. Let them think that I'm not the most shy girl. So I raised my hands, and I just took every opportunity there was to speak, to present. And with one presentation, two presentations, I realized that I really enjoy it. That I really enjoy speaking, and that, like, I realized that I can even host, which I never thought I could do. I just wanted to be able to speak at interviews. That's all I wanted. But when I talked in front of people, I realized that I really liked it. So for people, everyone, you might not enjoy it, but at least speak up so that um, you can just do it. It's like you're not that scared to not be able to do it. That's it.
Wow, Fabia, thank you. That is amazing. I was just thinking that in 5 years' time, you can look back at this conversation and see a moment in your professional career history. And we have what stages you will speak on in the future is going to be huge. Like as you go to another continent and you go meet even like you're about to you're getting another clean slate when you go to Australia, aren't you? Professionally. So that is super exciting. And I think your growth mindset is a fantastic example to everybody out there who feels nervous and you have just outlaid the steps to make. Raise your hand. Clean slate and put yourself in a situation where there's no risk, but there are stakes. Like Pitch Club, what I love about Pitch Club is that we feel the moment, but nothing can go wrong.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if we wobble on a banana skin, because you've got people like Andrew and Rekha and Kate and Gary and Colin and Audrey and like MCK, hundreds of other people who come every week just to help us all improve. So thank you so much for your time. This has been such a wonderful first live. We're going to do more in the new year. Pitch Club is back next week. So I can't remember what day that is. Today's the 30th, maybe the 6th of January.
Yeah.
5:30 p.m. GMT on Zoom. It only gets shared in LinkedIn. So there'll be all the information coming through in LinkedIn. And we would love to see everybody there to come and start the same journey that you have started and is ongoing and is a lifelong learning process, which is the super nice thing about this. So anything you'd like to say to people before we sign off, Faabiha? Should they follow you on LinkedIn or Twitter? What's your social media presence? Where are you?
Yes, you can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm trying to build a personal brand, and also follow me on Instagram. It's the same name, Faabiha Kahn. That's it. Really, thank you, Martin, for inviting me as a guest. I've always wanted to be on an interview. I feel like a celebrity. I'm very happy. So thank you so much.
Well, it won't be the last time. So I look forward to let me know the next time you're on a live and we will tune in. And I just want to say a massive thank you to Andrew, to Rekha, to Imran, I can't scroll down in the chat, unfortunately. I can't see who else was here today. Kate was here. Do you remember anyone else that I said hello to at the
Yes,
beginning?
Abrar, and I think my husband Amajad Khan was also here. So thank you to everyone who joined. It was really a lovely conversation. We talked for almost an hour.
Yes, fantastic. We could go on, but we won't because people are busy and you're busy and I've got to get to my kids and have dinner. So thank you guys and we'll see you very soon. All right. Thank you, Faabiha.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thanks, guys. Oh, and